We're going to talk about templates and switches, and in particular, switches or a way to clip the graphics of the main line for your entrances and approaches, like we've got shown here. And we've got a video that we've made showing you how to apply this to your corridor, this template. But most of the magic happens in this template. So let's hop in the template. We're delivering an example two-lane rule with switch. Now the difference between the example two-lane rule and the example two-lane rule with switch is obviously it's got a switch in it, but these are broken up into components. You know, these components are broken down like in our example template. If you look at that, we've got one continuous component, okay? Now, in order for the switches to work, I had to break these into separate components so we could turn all this off. Okay, how are we turning those off? Well, it's just a display rule and some parent-child relationship. So let's hop in and look at this switch first. And what this is, you know, we're calling it a left shoulder in condition switch because it's turning off the shoulder and all the in conditions, okay? Now, this template is set up to work with point controls, horizontal feature constraints, and parametric constraints. So you can use any of those methods to turn these components off. However you want to use your workflow. And we do have a video showing you how to use each one of those different methods: the point control, horizontal feature constraint, and parametric constraints. And there's some pros and cons to all of them. But let's focus on the template and how this is set up. So this template is set up. The name of it, as I just mentioned, you know, it's set. You need to set this feature definition as a null point. We don't want that printing everywhere. And we've got a horizontal constraint set to the switch point, if you will. And I've set that off negative 10 feet. And the reason I did that, this 10 foot does not matter anywhere except for you don't really want it at 0 because it's going to cover up your center line, and you don't want it covering up your left edge of pavement. I mean, you can still get to it, you just have to click on it. And we've got a label here, left shoulder and EC switch. And this is what makes it work with your parametric constraints and your feature constraints, okay? And now, if you have something outside of a range of 100, you'll need to change this, and obviously left has a negative, right will have a positive. So let's look at these and see how this is set up, these components that is. You know, how is this display rule? It's a pretty simple display rule. You know, I've got one set up for the left and the right. Let's just look at the left shoulder for purposes of saving some time. They're set up exactly the same. Of course, the left and right, of course. What's this doing? You know, we've got the name of the point or the display rule and the description, you know, left side shoulder and in condition components. This is set up with the absolute horizontal. You know, there's several options in here you can pick. We went ahead and chose to do the absolute horizontal. And what points are we going between? We're going between the center line point and the left shoulder EC switch. Anytime that changes, whether it's less than 10 or greater than 10, this switch will kick in and work, okay? And we can test that. Close this, and you just right click on test point controls horizontal. Anytime I move that left or right, it's coming on any place other than 10. And I'd suggest checking both sides before you hop in your corridor and try this, because you know, if everything's not switching off for you, then it's not going to work in the corridor either. Let's look at these surfaces. Now, see, this one has the display rule on it as far as the left asphalt surface. Same way on the right, which we just pointed out. Now, the rest of these components are children of that. So we made the parent component the one with the display rule. So all these will follow it. And you can check all those. We won't click on every one of them. We'll just, you know, pick on them and see. You can see the parent component. is the left asphalt surface 1. Um, and that's what enables all that to turn on and